Hello everyone, I am Prakash. I am final year student of computer application. Today I am going to teach computer science for class 11 CBSE board students. Please stay with me for the next few minutes to understand how I teach. So we are going to understand the topic of the computer system overview. This chapter is the very first chapter for class 11th CBSE student. So I am going to teach this from basics. Okay, so before learning programs, our applications, it is very important to know what is a computer, how does it works, and what are major parts in a computer. Okay, so in this session we are going to cover the what is our computer and what is an software and hardware in the computer and the major components of a computer. Okay, so let's begin. What is a computer? A computer is an electronic device that is designed to accept input, process it according to the instruction, and store it for the future use and produce output. In simple words, a computer is a machine that performs a set of operations automatically with great speed and accuracy is called as a computer, which means a computer is a which takes the input and process it in the CPU box and produce it to the output. Okay, so this is the computer. What is a computer? Okay, so here this is the CPU box, this is the monitor, and this is the keyboard, and this is the mouse. Okay, so computer is equal to the input, process, and output. Okay, so let's, and the main component that are necessary components of a computer are the software and hardware. Okay, first we will see the what is an hardware. Hardware is a physical component of a computer, which means this is a computer is an hardware, this pen is an hardware, my mouse is an hardware, and CPU is an hardware, and keyboard is an hardware. Okay, so like these are the physical components of a computer. Okay, and next one, what is in software? A software is a set of instructions or program to perform a specific task on a program. On a computer. Okay, so in software there are two major types. One is system software and application software. What is a system software? A system software that controls hardware and provides a base for an application. Okay, so without any application we cannot run any computer. Okay, so like operating system like Windows, Mac OS, and etc. Okay, in application software, the programs designed for specific tasks. Let us suppose we want to type a document in a Word, Excel. We can search the things in a web browsers, and we can play the games with an component of a software. Okay, so etc. and so on, many on. Okay, let's suppose we have a smartphone. The screen, the battery, and the camera and speaker are the hardware. Okay, and for software, in a smartphone, the Android or iOS operating system like we use WhatsApp, YouTube, games, and etc. are the software. Okay, and we move on to the components of a computer. So these are the there are 5 components, major components which will present in the computer. Okay, so what we will see what is the input, output unit, and the central processing unit, and 4 and 5 are the primary storage and secondary storage. Okay, so the input devices are used to give data and instruction to a computer. Okay, so let's suppose I am giving the instructions using the mouse and keyboard or scanner, okay, to the computer. So that is an input. Okay, let's suppose when we type our pin and click withdraw in a ATM, so the money comes out. Okay, so and in the same way, scanning is the scanning a barcode in a supermarket or for billing. Okay, so this is an input. So for output, devices that display on or produce the result of processing. Okay, so for example, monitor, printer, and so on. Okay, so for in monitor, where the showing our exam results online after entering the roll number. Okay, and for printer we use printing our boarding pass at the airport. Okay, so this is an output. And the third one is central processing unit, that is CPU. It is also called as a brain of a computer. If this CPU doesn't work, we can assume that the computer is on dead. Okay, so it is a processor processes all the data and instructions to a computer. Okay, it has two main parts. One is arithmetic and logic unit, and control unit. Okay, which is called as an ALU and CU. ALU means which performs an calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and so on. These are the calculation done by a ALU. Okay, and the last one is control unit. The control unit is the direct operation done by a computer. Okay, so using these operators like greater than, less than, or equal to, or not equal to, and so on. Okay, these are the two main parts of a CPU. Okay, in other way, the ALU means for example, ATM adds or subtracts balance when you deposit or withdraw the money, okay, from your bank account. Okay, and for CU, let's suppose in the Google Map, CU, the control unit directs the system to fetch location and process and display the direction to us. Okay, so next we will go upon what is a primary storage and secondary storage. Okay, so this primary storage is also known as in main memory storage and internal memory. Okay, so this means storing a data for temporary and permanently for the quick use access. Okay, so the primary memory has two main components like types. First one is RAM, another one is ROM. Okay, so the RAM is known as random access memory. So that means it stores data while we are working. For example, while editing a Word file, and the unsaved content is in a RAM. Okay, so what is an ROM? A ROM is a read-only memory that stores a permanent instructions. For example, when we switch our computer, ROM runs the startups instruction like booting. Okay, and the last one is secondary memory. It's also called as an external memory. Okay, it is the very useful for the future use. Okay, it's a permanent storage for the future use. For example, we can store the movies and some videos and assignments or as software designing in a hard disk or SSD. Okay, and for pen drive, and we can storing and transfer the files using the cloud storage. Okay, so this is the overview of a computer system. So thank you, and I invite you to all my classes to understand the concepts of class 11th and 12th computer science to succeed in your class 11th final exam as well as in your class 12th board exam. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.